You want me to give y'all another example? Let me give you another example. Y'all know how Jank is always trying to allege, Jank and Anna both, they're always trying to allege someone is being paid by Russia, paid by Syria, etc., etc. Why nobody ever talk about their funding? Nobody ever talks about that. What am I referring to? Well, and I actually did a video about this. Nobody want to listen. I was just being divisive apparently. Scoop. YouTube to fund launch of Young Turk's local news academy. Now, why would they be doing something like that? I don't know. Maybe for some super progressive reason. Because we always know Google always prefers to support and push honest journalists. Not these guys. Not the bad ones. Right. Okay. The Young Turks, one of the largest progressive digital publishers on YouTube, is receiving funding from Google-owned YouTube to launch an online course called TYT Academy that focuses on the creation of digital-first local news. Sources say the investment is in the mid six-figure range. Why it matters? The investment is part of YouTube's $25 million commitment to news efforts. So you're literally part of a State Department propaganda campaign. And once again, this is not new. This is from February 11, 2020, people. The video I showed you prior to that was from 2019. But let's continue. As one of YouTube's most successful publishers with 4.6 million subscribers for its main account and millions of followers across its affiliated channels, TYT is a logical fit for this type of investment. That's crazy, y'all. So you trying to tell me that Google is progressive now? Question. Who gets censored on YouTube? Jimmy Dores. The convo couches of the world. Myself, obviously, we've been demonetized. Jason Burmis. I know Graham Elwood has been demonetized. Slow News Day and the crew, they get demonetized because all they talk about is Assange and whistleblowing and the real shit that we need to hear. Last American Vagabond is constantly being demonetized. Who else? I know I'm missing a few people. But YouTube suppression against real journalists is something that we all are very familiar with. Google suppression in general, when it came to how our progressive candidates were treated, is something that we're all very familiar with. Do you know who gets boosted in YouTube's algorithms? The Hill, Wall Street Journal, CNN, Fox News, TYT. Do you think it's because Google and YouTube only push people that push State Department talking points? Probably. Probably. In other words, so we have yet another example of how TYT should have been exposed, that people should have been, I don't want to say cancel them, because I mean, based off of what people say they believe in and how they go about their business and who they claim they support, are the characteristics someone has to display before they support them, or so they claim. That should be enough to make people like, look, I don't really fuck with them. This should have been based off of everything that everybody says they base their viewership on or their support on. I mean, you can't be watching them because they're right, because 98% of the time they're wrong. You can't watch them because they're consistency, because they're not consistent in any way, form, or fashion. Can't watch them because they're independent, because as I just explained to you and showed y'all, they're not independent. This is just one example. Or we can even go to the famous Katzenberg $20 million investment. Look, they're bragging about it. They wrote this part. They wrote the small part. Let me pull this back up for you. They wrote the small part. The 3L Capital leads. They wrote that part small. The reason why is because where'd it go? There we go. Progressive news outlet raises $20 million in venture capital funding and plans to double its staff. The firm's 3L Capital, Graycroft, E-Ventures, and Winder Co., which is led by the business executive in the Democratic Party kingmaker Jeffrey Katzenberg, will invest $20 million in the progressive media company, which for a decade has live streamed hours of video content with a progressive perspective. $20 million from vulture capitalists, ran by a Democratic Party figure. Kingmaker is how they describe him. Kingmaker. But y'all worried about who funded Aaron Mate? Y'all ain't worried about your own funding. Because last I checked, the Democrats got the House, they have the Senate, and they had the executive branch. And then y'all were also the ones trying to convince people that he was going to be the next FDR, right? That Biden's going to be FDR 2.0. Y'all are also the people who told us not to challenge Democratic Party cheating. Do you? Because y'all say that Aaron is doing his job because of the funding he's receiving from Russia and Syria, which is bullshit. But y'all not doing y'all job by defending the segregationists, protecting Elizabeth Warren, convincing leftists who were at the time registered in the Democratic Party to not fight for their vote. Even going as far as to lie on Trump because you couldn't come up with, because anything that you wanted to legitimately criticize Trump about, you could also apply to the Democratic Party. And of course, you didn't want to deal with that. You don't want to do that. And you're trying to tell me that all of those mistakes had nothing to do with the guy from the Democratic Party giving y'all $20 million. And he ain't tell y'all to look the other way not one single time. But you worried about who's funding Aaron Mate. At the end of the day, TYT's entire existence is based on a lie. They claim to be, for the longest time at least, I don't think they claim it anymore, but maybe they do. They claim that they are independent. They've always claimed that. They're the largest independent media organization on the internet. Bruh, when Cenk got fired from, quote unquote, got fired or left MSNBC, he was given millions in venture capitalist funding. In other words, there was never a single point in Cenk's entire time owning TYT that he wasn't someone else's bitch. He was never independent. That was never a thing. That was just yet another lie that Cenk told that everybody believed and assumed to be true because they assumed Cenk was honest, even though Cenk has been flipping back and forth between ideologies like since before literally since I was in high school. He's never been honest. And people once again just accepted his word. They've never been independent. And not only do they take money from the same people, these corporate candidates take money from, these party loyalists take money from, these Congress people take money from,